Hello, my name is Jenna McMurphy. I'm the Assistant Director for Access and Outreach at Colorado State University in Fort Collins. Thank you for attending my session today, Understanding Your Financial Aid Offer. How much students are going to pay for school is one of the most important aspects of deciding where to go to college. Often, students face a confusing array of options as they consider where to go to college and how to finance their education. Many institutions provide information that is not always clear to students and their families. As a university, it is important to ensure that students have transparent, clear-cut information about their options. During this presentation, our focus will be to gain a better understanding of the purpose of financial aid offers, important terminology, review the aid offer process, and guide you through an example of a financial aid offer and its different components, so that you as educators will be equipped with the knowledge and tools that you can utilize when meeting with students and families as they compare their financial aid offers and determine what school is going to be the best financial fit. Let's get started. Financial aid offers are the primary tool colleges and universities use to communicate college costs and financial aid eligibility to their prospective and current students. Each college develops their own financial aid offer, taking into account many factors, including the format of the educational programs they offer and the population of students they serve. A financial aid offer is an important tool for students and families to determine which school is going to be the best financial fit. With that, financial aid offers must be communicated in an accurate and understandable manner. Financial aid offers should be student-centric and transparent, using consistent terminology and clearly communicating all direct and indirect costs. Financial aid offers must include an estimate of a student's total cost of attendance, including a breakdown of the cost to be paid to the college or university and the cost paid to others, the type and source of financial aid being offered, and separated into grants and scholarships that do not need to be repaid, student loans or other financing that must be repaid, student employment or work, an estimated net price for the student derived by subtracting grants and scholarships from the total cost of attendance, and commonly understood terms and definitions or standard terminology. These elements foster informed decisions about accepting aid, assisting families in financial planning, and facilitate easier comparison between schools. When we are advising students, it is important for us to be intentional in our wording. In the past, educators have used the term financial aid award letter. This is inaccurate terminology and can be misleading to students. As we advise our students, we want to be clear in our wording that what students are receiving from colleges is a financial aid offer. Using the term financial aid offer is more representative of what the student will be receiving. Following this terminology is also guidance set by the Department of Education that all schools must adhere to. To expand on this, using the term award presumes the student is automatically receiving and approved for that specific type of aid, may also suggest that there may be no repayment required. For example, loans are not an award and repayment is required. Students must accept their loans and complete required loan requirements. For federal parent loans, parents must apply and be approved in order to receive a loan. Another example includes work study. Work study is an option, but students still have to apply and obtain a job while working to earn those funds. It's important for students to understand that work study does not apply directly to their costs. Additionally, many schools do not send out physical letters and may only send out electronic notices prompting the student to view their offer online through their student portal. In order for a student to receive a financial aid offer, they must have completed the FAFSA or CASPA and have one on file with the college. Without this, they will not receive a financial aid offer. Colleges, states, and many scholarship programs use the FAFSA or CASFA to determine what aid the student qualifies for. The FAFSA stands for the Free Application for Federal Student Aid. CASFA stands for Colorado Application for State Financial Aid. For students who are unable to complete the FAFSA, they can complete the CASFA. Both applications open each year on October 1st. Students must reapply each year and report the tax information from 2 years prior. Let's take a moment to review the financial aid process from start to finish and when a student can anticipate receiving their financial aid offer from their prospective schools. In October, students will apply for financial aid by filling out the FAFSA or the CASFA, which determines their eligibility for financial aid. Typically, midwinter, schools will begin to link students' applications to their files if they are an accepted student to the school. Once the file is linked to the student's account, schools will then notify students informing them that their application has been received. Some students may be selected for verification. Verification is a mandatory process where colleges must verify the accuracy of information reported on the FAFSA. Students must resolve any verification requirements with the school before they can be offered financial aid. Depending on the school, financial aid offers are commonly sent out late winter to early spring, or the month of February. The information comes in a financial aid offer, which will be either mailed or emailed to the student once they have been accepted and have a completed FAFSA or CASFA on file. Most schools' national commit date is May 1st. This gives students time to decide where they will attend. This also gives students time to compare the financial aid offers from each college and decide which school is the best financial fit. Now that we understand the primary purpose of financial aid offers, let's take a look at a real example of a financial aid offer and further our understanding of the different components. First component is outlining the student's estimated cost of attendance. When we review a school's cost of attendance, we want to be aware of two types of costs, our direct costs and our indirect costs. Direct costs are charges students will see on their bill. Indirect costs are other expenses students should consider but will not be billed for directly. It's important to note that these are estimated costs and actual expenses will vary for each student. In this example, we can see that in the first section, direct costs include tuition and fees and on-campus housing and meals. The total direct costs are then broken down further. For the fall semester, the total direct costs are $14,251. For the spring semester, the total is again $14,251. And then we have listed the total direct cost for the academic year as $28,502. Below, we have then separated the indirect costs from the direct costs. Indirect costs include books and supplies, transportation, and other educational expenses. Again, we have broken the costs down by the semester and then for the academic year. In this example, the total academic year indirect costs are $3,938. At the bottom line, we have then taken the total of the direct and indirect costs and combined them for a total of $32,440 for the year. The next component of the financial aid offer lists the financial aid the student has qualified for based on the FAFSA or CASFA completed. Furthermore, the financial aid is separated between financial aid that does not need to be repaid and then financial aid that does need to be paid back over time with interest. In this example, the student has qualified for grants and scholarships, which do not need to be repaid. Similar to the bill, the amounts are listed for the fall and spring semester and then the year as a whole. This student's total grants and scholarships for the year are $13,500. Below, we have then included the net cost for the student. The net cost is the estimated cost of attendance minus grants and scholarships. In this example, the student's net cost would be $18,940 for the academic year. After grants and scholarships, federal student loans have been listed as financial aid that needs to be repaid over time with interest. Undergraduate dependent freshman students that have completed the FAFSA will be offered federal student loans with a maximum annual amount of $5,500. Our last component of the financial aid offer is the estimated bill for the student. The estimated bill in this example is the total direct costs minus the student's financial aid. Should the student only utilize grants and scholarships, their remaining bill after the direct costs and their grants and scholarships would be $15,002 for the academic year. Should the student decide to accept their federal student loan and complete their loan requirements, their remaining balance for the year would be $9,502. Should students receive private scholarships after they receive their financial aid offer, in most cases, that would not be reflected on the initial aid offer, and students would need to account and calculate for that additional aid on their own until the donor has notified the school, at which time financial aid offices would update the student's financial aid offer. To conclude our session, let's take a moment to highlight advising tips and tools that you as an educator can utilize when meeting with students and families as they compare their financial aid offers with their schools of interest. As students and families compare their financial aid offers, we as educators can play a pivotal role in guiding them through the different components that will outline the information they need to know to make informed decisions. It's important that we follow the order of the aid offer as shown in the example we reviewed, beginning with breaking down the estimated cost of attendance and highlighting the differences between direct costs and indirect costs. Next, we will want to review the financial aid they qualified for while highlighting the difference between the different types of aid that does and does not need to be repaid. At this time, it may be helpful to review the glossary of terms so that students and families have a clear understanding of what the different types of financial aid mean. To really help our students and families understand the costs of each school, involve the students by encouraging them to take notes and take out their calculator to determine the final dollar amount by taking the estimated cost of attendance and subtracting any grants and scholarships. Once we have the final dollar amount, we want to create an open conversation for students and families to begin discussing and exploring other payment options. Students and families may not have the answer right at that moment, but we can review the options with them so that they can discuss them later as they make their financial decisions. Review other aid options the schools offer, which could include payment plans, federal or private loans, private scholarships, or out-of-pocket payment options. Lastly, review next steps and important dates and deadlines. Each school will have their own financial aid requirements and deadlines, including accepting aid, completing aid requirements, and billing due dates. While each student's path to paying for college will look different, our goal is to help students and families feel informed about their costs and aid options, while being able to determine what school is the best financial fit and having a financial plan in place before the student arrives to school. Another useful tool that students and families can use to decipher different aid offers and compare is utilizing the aid offer comparison worksheet. The worksheet gives students tips to follow when comparing aid offers, explaining the difference between gift aid and self-help aid, checking for eligibility requirements to maintain grants and scholarships, and calculating out-of-pocket costs for schools. There are a variety of sources online to access PDF worksheets for students to utilize. Thank you for joining our session today.